What is Padfoot? Is it a person?
Who's a Padfoot?
What's a Padfoot?
Who's a Padfeet?
Is it an owl?
What's a Padfeet?
Okay, wait.
No, it's not an owl.
And I know that's bad for our image, but I don't give a damn.
What's up, posers? Welcome to Fest Lotto Pod, the game where no one wins. I'm your co-host, Justin Hensley.
I am your other co-host, Dylan Hensley.
And we are coming to you live from Gainesville, Florida. Well, live to tape, I guess, but that's how every podcast works.
We're coming to you 2 weeks before this episode.
No, this one's going up Wednesday.
Next week.
When we get back.
It'll be timely.
We are here in Gainesville, Florida at Fest 18, and we are joined by our good friends and last year's guests, Cory and Lauren.
Hello.
Hi.
How's everybody's fest doing?
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's taking a lot out of us, a lot out of me this year.
Yeah, my ankles hurt way more than I think ever before.
My ankles swelled up really big last week before Fest even started, so in anticipation of this week.
Yeah, my feet were hurting a lot last night. I'll see how I feel at the end of today. But
this is the Medical Issues Podcast.
Yeah. Aging punks.
Yeah.
Bad shoes.
Yeah, my choice of footwear was not sufficiently padded. But no, it's been great so far.
Yeah, as we're recording this is the morning of Sunday, November 3rd, so it's the third day at Fest. We've still got a whole nother day of music to see in front of us, and it's a big day.
It'll be a busy one, yeah.
Yeah.
When I woke up this morning and stood up for the first time, I just thought, like, 12 more hours of standing.
If you're lucky, it's only 12.
I think I'll be lucky, but yeah. What's that squeaking?
Yes, I'm sitting
on a laundry rack.
Yeah. I guess it's designed for your suitcase to sit on.
Yeah.
But
it's a DIY podcast.
Yes. Yeah, it's not about sound quality. It's about the quality of content.
The quality of friendship.
Don't promise that.
We've got some drinks. You surprised us this year with a regional soda, yes?
Yeah. We're from North Carolina, as regular listeners will know, even though Dylan lives in Phoenix currently.
And we are from Canada.
Right. And so I was trying to think of like regional snacks or drinks or anything that I could bring for y'all to try, and the only thing I could really think of was Cheerwine and Sundrop, which I don't know how widely known they are as far as names, but their Cheerwine specifically is made pretty much within a radius of North Carolina, a little bit of Tennessee, some of Virginia, some of South Carolina. Does any of it go into Georgia?
I think so. I mean, you can find it anywhere if they like order it, like from, you just have to have it drop shipped pretty much. But because I mean, I found bottles of it in Arizona just at Ace Hardware because they had old timey sodas, so they had the glass bottles of Cheerwine. And so, you know, if there's a specialty soda shop or drink shop, they might have it. But
it was worth it. It was worth the surprise. I enjoyed it. That's my official review.
I haven't had it yet.
Oh, you haven't had it?
I thought we were all going to
mine's
take a drink
done.
at the same time. And you've chugged yours.
Mine's done.
He'd drink it all.
Okay, here goes. Yeah. It's a cherry soda.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's technically a cherry cola, but it doesn't really have any of the cola flavor, really.
It's just like a real deep cherry flavor. It's not.
I like it. I don't tend to drink a lot of darker sodas, aside from root beer. I find this pleasant. Thank you.
Oh, we'll have to try Sundrop at the end too. Sundrop's a little wider release, but
Yeah, we still haven't had it. What's been good about Fest so far for you?
Well, it's always fun just to see everyone we know. You know, we ride in with our friends from back home, and we get to see y'all.
Yeah, I feel like this year we got to see you, well, especially you two, more than maybe other years.
Yeah. Yeah, because in years past, there's a lot of just like passing each other as we go to different shows and not necessarily as many in common. But this year, I think we've got a lot more that we've just hung out at.
Yeah,
together.
and I think there's more today. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been specifically watching you, Dylan, for most of the weekend.
Oh.
I really like watching you watch bands.
Stalking my moves.
Just like a glance here and there, just to check in.
Oh.
And I think...
How many bands have you watched me be totally unenthused?
So yeah.
Just like, 2 hours of Against Me songs, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a few of those, so I like those. But even when I watched you I watched you watch Jawbox, a band that you like, and you had more or less the same reaction to Jawbox that you did to 2 hours of Against Me songs you didn't know. But you were singing along to American Steel last night.
Yeah.
You had a stronger reaction.
Yeah. It was easier to sing along to, I think. Jawbox is not quite as many sing-along moments.
Okay, so what do you like from this year?
Yeah, I really enjoyed American Steel. Jawbox was really incredible to see.
Did you see them on their tour? Or did they not come to where you are?
No, they played in LA, and I would have gone to that if they weren't playing Fest.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it when it was announced, and then like the Fest announcement was probably like 2 weeks later.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'll just go to Fest.
Okay. So it didn't make sense for you to
Yeah.
travel out of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a pretty good Fest. It's been a little more delayed. First 2 days have been, everything was later. I mean, we had AJJ in the middle of the day, but a lot of downtime for most of Saturday afternoon. So just a lot of fun, people watching and eating and.
Yeah, I've eaten so much this week. I've had a White Claw finally, after getting passed over the free sample the first time. We were at, who were we watching? Against Me on Friday night. And then I was like, I guess I was looking at my phone the entire time when the White Claws samples were handed out. And I turned around and both you, Lauren, and Dylan have little White Claw samples. And I'm like, where'd you get those? I want a sample. And then yesterday they came around and actually gave out whole cans, and I was like following her around to try and get her to give me a sample, but she would never turn around and look at me. And finally you gave me your extra can that you took.
If I could only make eye contact with that White Claw.
So I had a White Claw and a couple mixed drinks at the Japanese restaurant. And, I'm doing Fest right?
Yeah, excellent. Have either of you not made it into a set that you really wanted to make it into?
Yes, there was one that I really wanted to go to. We really wanted to get into Expert Timing at the Atlantic. They've been on the show. They were really fun, and I really like their record. And we saw them last year at Fest, and they were a lot of fun to watch. And
they're definitely one of the most memorable bands from last year.
Mm-hmm.
They just had a really energetic stage presence. And
yeah. So we were at the Woolly watching Big Nothing, and Expert Timing were playing at the Atlantic across the street. So we were like, oh, no rush. We had like not a full hour, but close to an hour between. Maybe it was more like 40 minutes, but we walk out to like go get in line in the Atlantic, and there's a line wrapped entirely around the building.
Was that lineup for Expert Timing?
I think it was because Spanish Love Songs were the mystery band immediately after them, so everyone was trying to get in early. So it was disappointing. We weren't able to get in, but I do hope a bunch of people just heard Expert Timing that maybe not have heard them otherwise. So.
Yeah.
I think some of those mystery band slots are really good for those bands that precede And I was half expecting that last night when American Steel played the backyard at Boca Fiesta, because New Junk City was playing right before them, and I don't know that band, so this might just be my own cluelessness. But it was jammed for New Junk City. I assume people were getting there super early so they wouldn't miss the American Steel Mystery Band set. But no, a ton of people left. Like, way more people left. I don't mean to suggest that New Junk City has no fans, but I just don't know that band. But I'm glad that a bunch of people saw them. It's good for them.
Yeah.
But I guess I was just surprised that so many people left who weren't there for American Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny because we were at 8 Seconds to watch. We had just watched Warriors, and they'd finished up, and we were waiting for Sprainerd to come on, and then you texted and said, "Oh, there's not really a line. You can come just straight over here to see American Steel." So I was like, well, we've seen Sprainerd a few times, and I've only seen American Steel once. So I was like, well, let's do that. So we went over there, and it was one of those situations where it was like one in, one out, though. So there were only maybe 10 people in line total, but they were being real strict about like who could come in. So we missed the first like 3 or 4 songs, but
yeah,
we got in time to.
Enough people went and used the bathroom and then couldn't get back in. So.
Yeah.
Have you guys? Well, they were watching at the door, so they would tell everyone who was going out. They would say, if you leave and go anywhere other than the bathroom, you can't come back in. And they were watching, so if people would walk and try and go to the bar to get a drink, they wouldn't let them back in. They would say, you got to go to the back of the end of the line. A couple people tried that, and then a couple people too. They were watching carefully. They were doing their job right. I saw a couple people try and go around the line and say, I was just in the bathroom, and they would the people at the door would say, no, I didn't let you out. Go to the end of the line. And I saw a bunch of them go like, I tried.
That's funny. I mean, at least they were being fair. Like, if you're going to the bar to get a drink, it's not quite the same as
because there is a bar in the backyard.
Yeah.
And so, but lineups were big probably.
Yeah.
I thought they'd get around it by going out in Palomino. I was really glad we got into that. One of my biggest Fest regrets is not seeing Dead to Me, the secret show, the mystery show at Boca a couple years ago. I watch that YouTube video all the time. It just looks like the best time. So I'm glad that we got in for American Steel. Energy wasn't quite as high as in that Dead to Me set, but it was still awesome.
It was a good energy for the crowd for American Steel, just because, I don't know, a lot of people have been drinking too. So.
Yeah, well, and I mean, just like this past year, I think American Steel got on Instagram, and they've been like going through the archives and posting old photos. They've been pretty active on Instagram. I think that, they're feeling excited to play together, even if they can only do it in limited runs.
They put out a 7-inch earlier this year, and is there another 7-inch?
No, I went back when I heard them say that. I went back immediately to see if there was a new one. No, it wasn't a new one.
It was just that one.
Just that one, yeah. Yeah.
I hope they do an album. If you're listening, do an album.
Yeah.
4 people in a hotel room want you to do that.
We could just kind of like talk through like what our days have been like for the most part. We did play around a Fest Lotto Pod, but we won't talk as extensively, I don't think, about that as we would just the regular, like all the other stuff we've done.
Yeah.
So I guess from the first day, is there anything like registration wise? Did we see anything crazy or?
We were in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't in there very long either.
I didn't find there was like a ton going on flea market wise that I wanted to check out. Like all the booths were full. I flipped through a couple of the record vendors, just checked out their stock, but it seemed like a lot of the same stuff that's been there years past. They had the Fest Music for Fest People comps, or Fat Music for Fest People. I think that was all that Fat was selling.
Yeah.
They had a Red Scare table. They had a couple of environmental justice tables.
Yeah.
So we didn't spend a ton of time there.
Yeah, we weren't in there very long. We looked around a little bit and got our bands, and we were pretty much done. So, yeah, we went and had lunch at Reggae Shack, which was very slow that first day, but then we went to Aerozane, didn't see anything there.
No, it's been a quiet record buying year.
Yeah, I haven't bought any records. The only thing I really bought is like a t-shirt.
on our way out of town, we're gonna go to a couple of stores in Tampa. So hopefully I'll have some better luck there. But yeah, and then I don't know. We started bands. What time did we start bands at? The first band we saw was around 6. Just looking at our schedule, we saw Virginity at 6:20. I think that was the first band we saw. Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started off with Canadian Rifle at Dirty Nelly's, and they were fun. And then...
I wasn't really familiar with them. They were a little different than I expected, just kind of in like a... But when they said that they were from Chicago, though, I was like, oh, it makes sense. Because it's got that kind of like noisy but melodic sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a noisier version of a lot of that Dead Broke Records sound. So it's like the mid-paced, melodic.
They've been around for a long time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least 10, if not more.
Yeah.
Probably.
Have they
more.
always been a Chicago band, or did they move from somewhere?
I don't know. I don't know their history very well. Then I'm trying to remember what we left there. I don't remember what we were going to do, but we ran into you, Lauren, in line.
Oh, yeah.
At Lucy's.
Yes.
For the Saves the Day cover set.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was my favorite part of the Friday.
Yeah, I think, it was...
Oh, the Humanity?
Yeah, it was the Humanity doing Saves the Day, and Night Marathons did the Weaker Thans right after. And that's how I feel about the Weaker Thans set. It was like probably my favorite part of that whole day.
Yeah.
They were so good. It was so great to see like an entire room full of people who just like they loved these songs, and even though it's not the actual band playing it, like everybody's reacting positively to these other bands playing songs. I wish Weaker Thans would play Fest.
Yeah.
Saves the Day should play Fest, and honestly, they're an active band. There's no reason why they shouldn't.
They played This Is Hardcore this year.
Did they?
Yeah, their full sets online. They played like a 2-hour set.
Wow.
And I think that it was a pretty good example of a band like knowing the audience, at least in that moment, because I think Saves the Day is touring a new record. I haven't really kept up with their last couple of releases, but it was an early days heavy set.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's smart. I mean, you're playing This Is Hardcore, so you know
what people are there for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably your first
First
record.
three. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I saw Career Suicide on Friday night. That was really fun. I wasn't expecting to get to stay for their whole set just because of the way the times lined up, but they started a little bit early and they didn't use their I think they had 40 minutes, and I don't think Career Suicide has ever played for 40 minutes, so they wound up playing for about 25-30 minutes. They were really good, but they were down 2 members. Jonah wasn't there. I don't know, Martin said that he was at his wife's bedside in London, so I hope that's maybe for the birth of a baby and not something more serious. I hope they're doing all right. They were really good though. It was half empty at 8 seconds. It seemed 8 seconds capacity has just seemed a little strange this year.
Yeah, they were apparently at capacity for Spanish Love Songs yesterday.
Yeah,
which that band is super hyped this year for some reason. But then like when you try to get in for Warriors,
they weren't letting anyone else in. It was just one in, one out. And I guess he was on his headset, and then he was like, "All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're my cutoff. You guys can go in."
Were you the cutoff?
It was like someone right after me.
Yeah.
In line.
I heard people saying that the sound was especially bad at 8 seconds this year, but I didn't feel like it was any worse than it normally was.
Okay. I just thought the drums were really loud. Like they needed to turn the drum mics down a little bit.
Yeah. To me, it sounded more poorly mixed than usual. Because, I mean, even if it's mixed to where everything is kind of the same level, it still sounds bad.
Yeah.
Because it's not a good sounding room, and the sound system has been blasted out of bro country for every other night of the year.
It's a tough spot because they need a big enough space to host some of those like mid-level to bigger bands, maybe bands that can't quite play Bo Diddley yet, but you got to do with what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I put earplugs in, it was just like I lost everything. It was just like only the top end of the guitar and just the cymbals. That was all I could hear.
After the Saves the Day set, we walked over to Against Me. I think you guys all came with us too, right?
Yeah,
we watched night 1 of 2 Against Me sets, 4 albums, starting with Searching for Former Clarity, all the way up through Transgender Dysphoria Blues. That first night was really cool. They did Searching and New Wave. I love Searching. That's definitely one of my favorite Against Me albums.
We left during part of the New Wave set.
Yeah.
But at one point during the Searching songs, I turned to Dylan and I was like, I thought I knew these songs better than I did. Apparently, I didn't know them as well as I expected. I knew the New Wave songs more. Maybe it's because that album had a ton of singles off of it. They had really wide rate play on MTV. Journey's music videos in the stores.
Yeah, because that was their first Syra release, so they had a ton of media presence, I guess, at that time. They had a lot of videos off that album.
I had Thrash Unreal as my ringtone for a really long time, and if you know me, that's really weird because I'm not really a big Against Me fan.
That song is great, though.
It is a great song.
I remember the night that album came out. I probably listened to Thrash Unreal 15 times in a row. Yeah.
Is it the best song on the album, or do you think there's some better ones?
I don't know. I guess personal taste here. Yeah, for me, it's my favorite song on the album.
Same. Yeah, that's what I think.
I did think it was funny that Laura Jane said when before they started to play "Stop," said I've learned it's okay to completely hate this song, but it's also okay to have a lot of fun while you're playing it. Yeah, it was just I guess a little bit of interesting reflection on their career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we left there a little early. We went and saw Kepi Gooley play for about half a set, and the energy in there was weird too, because it was at first it wasn't very exciting.
It wasn't a very Kepi crowd.
Right. He was throwing out his all the balloons that he brings every time he plays Fest, and people weren't really playing along with the balloons or really into it. But then maybe a couple songs in, I guess more people came in from outside that were Kepi fans, and it got a little bit more lively in there.
Was there something happening afterward that people were waiting around for?
I don't know. Okay. I don't think so, because it wasn't a very packed room. There were people in there, but it wasn't anywhere near capacity. Okay. I think it just took people a minute to get in who were there to see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was odd. It was not a Kepi crowd. It was funny. And then I was like, well, if we leave early, we're going to be letting Kepi down. Because there's not enough people.
You have an obligation.
But then a bunch of people came in, so I was like, okay, we can sneak out the back now.
Kepi won't be mad.
He won't be mad at us.
I don't think Kepi could get mad.
Yeah. And then we ran over to watch Big Nothing at the Woolly.
They were great.
They were really great.
Yeah.
That that record is one of my favorites this year.
Yeah, you got me into that.
Yeah.
Because I was never a huge Sprainerd fan. But yeah, you told me the Big Nothing record was great, and I've been listening to it off and on. I'm excited to have a physical copy of it now. I picked it up after their set, and spend some more time with it. And then I think I really wanted to get into the Coxbar cover set that Dead Bars was doing, but Wolfface was doing the Misfits cover set right afterward. And so it was another one of those situations where people were trying to get in early to not miss what they wanted to see, and the lineup was just too much for Dead Bars. And we had been awake for, almost or just over 24 hours at that point. Just a long day of traveling. Usually we come in the day before Fest just so we have a day to hang out, do some cool stuff in Gainesville, do record shopping before all the punks come into town and scoop everything good up out of the bins. But we did not have that luxury this year, so we came in on a 9 a.m. flight or 6 a.m. flight out of Toronto, and got to Gainesville just in time for registration. So pretty much had to start Fest right away this year. So we were tired, and I think we just headed back to the hotel after we couldn't get into that Coxbar set.
Yeah, and then we stood around near the Lucy's after all that happened. I think all those bands were playing, and then that we could hear the Wolfface Misfits cover set from where we were standing. So we were just like, "This is the perfect distance I want to be from a Misfits cover set." Outside of the venue, across the street, you can hear all the songs.
Yeah.
Was it an all Project 1950 cover set?
Cover of covers.
They went with more deep cuts, I noticed.
That's
like, they weren't like... They did like Where Eagles Dare and... I don't know, they did some just slightly
They did
more...
Esther Zombies. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. They did some more... Not like the most well-known Misfits songs.
Sure,
but
not the obvious choice.
yeah.
Cool. And then we go to Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday
Started with me seeing a Gainesville city bus driver picking his nose and eating it. That really made my whole morning.
We went straight to Bodilly to get there for AJJ and get lunch at one of the booths there. We were gonna eat at the taco truck, but for some reason they weren't open, so we wound up eating at the 3 Dot,
Yeah.
which was good. It was just
Yeah, the food options have been really good at Bodilly this year, so
Yeah.
kudos to Fest for bringing in some new and interesting
yeah,
new and
it's
interesting
exciting.
food options there.
Like, I haven't had that hot dog guy's stand at all this year. Normally I at least have once by this point. Just
Well, there's still a whole day.
I mean, I might
See
go
what
to a
happens.
hot dog instead of
I don't know.
that guy.
$6 hot dog.
Yeah. And then AJJ were great. I was hoping to get one of their tour shirts. They made this funny shirt this year that says Fest Tour, Day 1 Travel, Day 2 Play Fest, Day 3 Day Off, Day 4 Travel. Like that was their tour
Yeah.
for the fest. And they didn't have it in 2X, so I had to get a different shirt. But while I was standing in line, one of the guys in front of me was like, are you going to play Can't Maintain? Which is a show they just done in Phoenix, where they played that record in its entirety.
It's the 10th anniversary. So I went to that show and saw that. That was a lot of fun. That's my favorite AJJ record, so it was really cool to see them play those songs.
Yeah.
Some lyrical updates.
Yeah.
Some much needed lyrical updates, which is one of those things I like about AJJ. They kind of grow and change as people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do that. They didn't do a Can't Maintain set, but they did do a lot of songs heavy off that album just because
Yeah.
they just relearned them after a while, not playing them.
Yeah.
And
They played the more upbeat,
mhm.
faster songs from that record. So
Then they ran out. They played through their whole set, and then they were like, "Well, we had some extra time," so then they just threw in a couple like more obscure.
well, they
songs.
played Mega Guillotine again.
Yeah, which is their new in joke, I guess, for this record. And they did a cover of Sleep's Dragonaut, which is hilarious because everyone in the watching them didn't know that song, except for maybe like 4 or 5 other people. And so they're just all standing around like,
What's happening?
doing? I didn't expect to see a stoner metal cover by AJJ. And then,
You guys saw Jawbreaker on cello.
yeah, that was very good, very surprising. I guess I didn't realize it was going to be a cello quartet.
I was also picturing just one cello.
Yes.
Me.
And then I saw a picture and I saw it was 4 and yeah.
And because I was just imagining just like one person like just doing the tunes to these Jawbreaker songs, and it wouldn't quite sound the same, but it was like a whole quartet, and they like arranged everything, and it sounded amazing. I was very surprised at how good it was. I think they should do that every year because I think they're local. I think the main guy is from Gainesville. 2 of them were students
Yeah.
at the University of Florida, and the woman on the very end, she was from Tampa. So I think they're all regional. So I think they should do that every year. Just play,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do different bands, maybe.
Did any of the members of the band show up?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They're here because our friends actually sat with Chris Baumeister for a little bit. They were sitting on the benches that are not too far from Downtown Fats.
Yeah.
And then like Chris and his girlfriend or wife sat down and they talked to them for a while.
Cool.
So they're here walking around, so I was surprised they weren't in there.
Yeah. Grant said that Chris told him when he plays the bass line and Kiss the Bottle that it's for Grant.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we did our Punk Lotto Pod.
Yeah.
We
do
did
we
it.
want to get into that, or do you?
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Do you want to, or do you want to finish off the day?
I think we, unless there's anything big that we didn't hit, because we'd mentioned Jawbox and Against Me and Warriors and American Steel. So
Yeah, we saw all that stuff. There was a proposal during Slingshot Dakota, and I just saw this morning there was a proposal during, was it Spanish Love Songs too? So
Yeah, Grant said there was a proposal during Kill Your Idols.
Kill Your Idols. Just a weird one.
that's a weird one. A whole bunch of Fest proposals happening. That's nice.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah, it does.
I guess it's people who go to Fest together decide to propose.
Yeah.
That would make sense. If my wife went to Fest and loved it a lot,
Yeah.
maybe I could think of that. I don't know. I'm not against the idea of public proposals.
I don't think your wife would like a public proposal either.
No, and let alone she doesn't want to come to a music festival in Florida.
You could propose on Skype. Yeah, I mean the rest
Take
of the
your laptop on stage.
connection's poor here.
What's the Wi-Fi password?
Yeah, other than that, Saturday was great. We saw Dead Bars do their proper set. That was really good. That was one of my favorite sets of the weekend, I think. I was surprised to see them as a 5-piece because I think they're only a 2-piece on when they record. Although I haven't looked at the liner notes for the new album, but I know at one point they were a 2-piece. We saw most of Joyce Manor. That was great. We saw most of the Eradicator. That was fun. We saw them last year, and it was pretty well the same set as last year, but it was still fun. And then we went back for night 2 of Against Me. White Crosses and Transgender Dysphoria Blues. Those were fun to see. And then, bunch of stuff in between that and American Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you listened to last year's Fest episode, you'll know that we did what we called Fest Lotto Pod, where we took a set of time that we all had free on our schedules and just like assigned each band playing during that time period a number and then drew it at random. We originally drew Dikembe, but we all knew who Dikembe is, so we were like, well, let's pick one we don't know. So we picked another band, and we picked another one.
It was another one that we knew, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was too far to walk.
Poor location.
That's what it was. It's the one that like you would have to drive to. So we're like, let's do another one. So then we wound up with a band called Padfoot. I had no idea who they were. I knew nothing about them. I don't think I even remember seeing their name.
No.
I did go through and listen to everything that was on Fest Radio before, but yeah, they must have been one of those bands that I listened to it and then just didn't put it on my list, so didn't think about them again. You recognized the band name only because...
Well, I speculated that they liked Harry Potter.
Which they actually
And
say.
yes, I was correct after I read the bio.
Yeah.
What is Padfoot? Is it a person?
Who's a Padfoot?
What's a Padfoot?
Who's a Padfeet?
Is it an owl?
What's a bad feet?
Okay, wait.
No, it's not an owl.
Okay, so Lauren and our son have read every single Harry Potter book. I have not I like fall asleep when they start reading it. I have seen all 8 movies now. I have retained very little.
We like to do, my son and I, we like to quiz Cory. And so he'll say, our son will quiz him on, like, who's Hagrid?
Yeah.
Who's this? Who's that? Cory doesn't know anything.
No.
It's very funny.
I don't know anything either.
Okay, let's then, the 3 of us, try and figure out who or what a Padfoot is. My first guess was an owl, but you said no.
Is it a cat? Because they have pads on their feet?
Why am I thinking of
That's a very literal interpretation.
Why am I thinking of a frog? Like a lily pad.
Okay. I think that is it a spell?
Is it a person?
Yeah, it's a wizard.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And he can transfigure into an animal, and he...
Did he turn into a frog?
No, not a frog.
A cat?
I forget what he is. He might turn... I forget who it is. He might turn into a cat. I don't remember. He's one of the wizards, and he transforms into something, and him and his other friends, they created the Marauders map when they were at Hogwarts.
What's that? Is that a map?
Now, what's that?
Is that a map?
What's Hogwarts?
It's a map to go see Marauder play. This is Hardcore Fest. Yeah, their bio says they formed out of a mutual love of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
They're from Virginia Beach, but I think they're from multiple cities. If you look at their Bandcamp, they have like multiple cities listed, or their Facebook rather. So like Virginia Beach and Richmond are like the big standouts. They said this was the one guitarist, who I believe his name is Sawyer, said that this was their first fest. And I was like, okay, playing and like Sawyer's first time even being at Fest. But then the other guitarist, Karen, said she wrote a song about something that happened 5 years earlier at Fest.
Being
so
stood up at Fest 5 years ago.
I was like, whoa, you've been here 5 years. You've never been here before. I don't know what the age range is for this band. They all looked super young.
Yeah.
I assumed they were 18. Then I saw them drinking. So then I'm like, okay, they have to be 21.
Right.
Then Karen said that she'd been there 5 years.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how old she is.
I have no idea. At the
If she came when she was 18, then she would be...
Yeah, she could have come younger.
Yeah.
But how many 18-year-olds
at...
are coming because of all of the 21 and up venues?
Yeah.
I don't think there's as many. Like, it's possible.
It is possible.
Okay. We don't need to speculate on Karen's age.
But I will say, Karen was my favorite part of the band.
I loved her. I loved Karen.
She was great.
And the Karen jokes were good.
Yeah, she broke her string on the very first note of the first song on her guitar. So they played the whole song, and then like they swapped out with another guitar, but it was clearly not her normal guitar, because they were like, "That guitar's huge on you, Karen," because it was like a big like hollow body thing. And like she didn't know where the switches were on that guitar specific. So the bass player, who is from the band Portraits of Vernon, Pictures of Vernon.
Who was that, sorry?
The bassist was... I wrote it down. Oh, he's a bass player for... I don't know if he's a bass player in that band, but he's in the band Pictures of Vernon.
So he was not their original bassist.
Right.
Okay. And he wouldn't
He
take
was
his...
filling in.
And he wouldn't take his backpack off.
He didn't take his backpack off or his hoodie. He played his entire set wearing a backpack.
He looked uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable.
I mean, it's cumbersome to have a backpack.
Yeah.
It restricts your movement.
Yeah.
And how hot was it?
He was concerned that someone was going to dig through his backpack while he was
He's
playing.
got deep secrets in that backpack.
But I knew the name Pictures of Vernon because they were they played last year, I think. I don't know if they're playing this year. They may be. They're kind of a hype band, a little bit like the emo pop punk stuff that's going on right now.
Okay.
More DIY side.
So they were a funny band then.
Yeah.
Like the Karen jokes were good. They had like every possible funny sound check bit they were doing. They were like, I thought Shrek 1 2 as a mic check was funny.
That was the best one.
That was the first thing that made me laugh, and I think it was the first thing they said. And then every time they sound checked the keyboard, they would do the intro to "What in the End" by Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. They were really throwing everything out there.
What the thing that struck me was they were all so young, and it seemed like they probably, I don't know how many shows they played. They apparently did 2 East Coast tours.
Yeah, I mean the bio on the Fest page says they've been around for 5 years.
Yeah.
Apologies to anyone in Padfoot listening to this. That just know that this is the game.
Yeah, we
come in as uninformed as we can.
We actually go in specifically not reading any of the bios too. So apologies for getting facts wrong.
For Fest Lotto.
Yeah. One of the ideas for Fest Lotto Pod is that, like, everyone always says, like, oh, one of my favorite things is just checking out a band I've never seen before at Fest. And I've done that before where, like, I didn't know the bands well and I just went into the set because maybe I heard 30 seconds of one song on their Bandcamp and I was like, well, let's see what this sounds like. That's how I found Expert Timing. Like, I just heard a little bit of one of their songs on their Bandcamp and then I was like, oh, I'll go check them out at Fest. And they were great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is just, like, taking advantage of the perfect environment that Fest creates by just picking a band you've never heard of and going and seeing them.
Yeah, so we were there not knowing who Padfoot is and not knowing what to expect sonically, not knowing what to expect in terms of crowd. They were clearly playing for, like, a bunch of their friends. Mm-hmm. People were super stoked to be there. There was a ton of singing along.
Yeah.
Their singer would just give the mic to audience members at certain points who would jump in and take over for parts of the song.
Yeah, they were, I guess, what would you describe their sound? It's lots of gang vocals, there's like 4 singers in the band.
Yeah, the drummer was singing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
My impression was a bunch of people singing along to Taking Back Sunday songs in their car. Just like all yelling over each other, like.
But the band didn't sound like Taking Back Sunday.
No.
Yeah, they just kind of had that emo pop punk general feeling.
I got a big Jeff Rosenstock Bomb the Music Industry vibe. Yeah, like that party on the stage atmosphere that those kind of bands have.
Okay, you're talking vibe, not music though.
Yeah, not musically. Okay. Musically, I don't really know who to compare them to.
Okay. I could, so... Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just thinking.
I mean, their bio says, what is it, Space Rock meets the Appleseed Cast?
I don't hear
that at all.
Alright, that's just what their bio says.
Yeah. Take it up with them. Yeah, I don't hear that.
I don't hear any Hawkwind riffs in there.
I don't think that they sound like Algernon Cadwallader, but I can trace the emergence of that particular sound that Padfoot was playing from bands like Algernon Cadwallader.
Yeah,
like kind of like the twinkly is so overused.
Yeah,
but yeah, like,
they're not really even that twinkly from their music.
No, but I can see how Algernon Cadwallader breeds a certain.
It reminded me of a lot of the bands that cropped up around that emo revival period.
The Hotelier, World is a Beautiful Place, that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, like
they had like screamy vocals at certain points.
Yeah.
They kind of reminded me of Grown Ups, like the faster songs.
I even thought a little bit of like Spray Nerds, like earlier material where like they would just like take turns singing over each other.
Yeah.
It was like every member of the band would sing on almost every song together. So like they like ran the range of like, I can't think of a specific band they sound like, which I guess is good for them. The use of the keys I think was really unique. That made them stand apart a lot.
I couldn't see because the speaker block was in the way from where we were standing. Was it the lead guitarist who was also bouncing between keys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they would play the guitar and then like do the one-handed key thing.
Okay.
And then like put it on a loop at some points just like so they could play guitar too.
Yeah.
I even asked our friend John Russell, who we had on the show and lives in Richmond, if he'd heard of this band.
Yeah.
And he his response was he definitely knew them. He said let's pull it up on my phone. Sawyer plays guitar and Padfoot runs Space Litter in Richmond. I'm not entirely sure what that is. It may be a venue.
Okay.
And also plays in a band called Warrington, which I'm not familiar with either.
No, me neither.
But I asked him because I was like, he might know who this is. What did you think of their songs? Like, did you enjoy them? I guess that's the biggest part.
I enjoyed the set.
What did you think, Cory?
Anything to add?
I don't know. I thought they were fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought I'm not answering your question here. I thought it was really fun that like a lot of their friends were there. Even if they weren't friends, like tons of people knew the words. I thought the music was fine. I wasn't a big fan of when the vocals got screamy. Like the lead vocalist, I just thought his voice didn't necessarily fit at certain points. Not every part, but when he would go into that scream, it just didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But I thought Karen had a great voice.
I was gonna say, like, I thought a majority of the songs just came across as a bunch of musical ideas, but they didn't quite come together to like form like a bunch of like really super strong songs.
Yeah.
That is until the very last song, Karen's song. They said the name of it, and I can't remember. The one about being stood up 5 years before.
Yeah.
I was like, what? You pulled out this fully fledged, like, complete song at the very end, and it's the best song in the entire set. Which I think even one of them on the stage even said, "This is the best song." Yeah. So it's like, oh, that's the best song in your set, and I get why you close with it, but like, more of this, please. Like, I love this a lot.
Yeah, I don't think either of you.
It struck me as the only song that was like a song that was written by someone in the band, and then they just learned to play it. Everything else kind of felt like that, like, writing in practice kind of approach to songwriting, where someone's like, I've got this little riff, and ooh, hey, we could do this. So most of their set felt really scattered and just kind of jumped, like Justin said, just from something, this idea to this idea to this idea. It didn't feel like songs that were written.
Okay.
But that last song did. It, sounded like she sat down and actually, wrote out her lyrics and her chords and, had a steady melody through the song. It wasn't as just like random shouting.
Yeah. It made me think of, well, I guess like sonically the band made me think a little bit of Modern Baseball. I don't think either of you listen to Modern Baseball, but there's this one song, like probably one of their best known songs, Your Graduation, which is like an almost perfect song, except for this one weird part in the middle where all of a sudden the drummer starts singing, and it just throws off the whole feel of the song. And so watching Padfoot made me think of that moment a little bit, because there would be parts of songs that were really good and really interesting, like Karen would have a verse, or the drummer would have a verse, and then most often, just for me personally, it would be like a part where the lead singer would come in and just vocally it would throw it off for me. But it made me think of that moment in the Modern Baseball song where like this otherwise really good song just has this whole section that just seems out of place and throws off the way the song feels for me.
Yeah, I sampled a little bit of their recording before we started talking about it today, and the new record on Chillwave Records, or it's a tape. It has a really good production quality. Like they also really captured their kind of live raucous energy, just like a bunch of people just buzzing around on stage basically the whole time. I don't know, that's something that I would really come back to often.
Sure.
Unless they like shifted in a more melodic direction. But I did think they're the type of band that you see at Fest where they're going to go one of two directions. I think one, they'll disappear. Like in a year, they'll break up. 2 years, they'll break up. Maybe play one more Fest and be done. Maybe not do anything. But the other direction is they become one of the most popular bands at Fest.
Yeah.
The energy of that crowd made me think maybe they could go that way. The more like the bigger bands that started in the small venues that like work their way up to like playing 8 seconds, or like, and then a mystery set, and then in the Atlantic will be like packed around the corner. So they could go in either direction.
They could be the next Dikembe.
Yeah, they could. Which they said during their set, Dikembe's playing right now. You go see them.
Yeah. No, I mean, that tells you that people are there, they want to see them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because there's so many of their friends were there, but a lot of people knew the words.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were a few people who were like very clearly their friends, but I agree with you. I think just a ton of people were there to see them, and yeah, singing along. It was a really happy crowd. Everyone seemed really stoked to be there. Tons of energy.
It was packed too. There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, it was busy.
Like probably even busier than some of the cover sets we saw the night before in there.
Yeah.
So they were fun. I wouldn't say no to seeing them again at Fest. It's like the perfect environment for them.
Yeah.
scheduling permitting, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much.
That's it.
Did we win?
Well,
I like asking that question.
Compared to last year? Yeah, you're the one who always remembers to ask. We always forget.
Compared to last year, we won.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year was a little bit more people watching in the audience than...
Yeah. Have you guys had any good people watching moments this year?
Well, all the Matthew Lillards at American Steel last night.
There was a gang of like
6'2".
Yeah, every one of them was 6'2". They all looked like Matthew Lillard, and and if they didn't look like Matthew Lillard, they had the energy of Matthew Lillard.
They sounded like Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, 2 of them definitely looked like Matthew Lillard, though.
They knew all the words though.
They knew, yeah, like to every song.
GNV punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It was definitely like the way they were dressed. I was like, oh, this is a 2003 punk scene. They're wearing their black hoodies, which everybody's wearing hoodies this year because it's a chilly fest. But
all had backwards caps.
Yeah, backwards caps or trucker hats. They were all wearing black hoodies. Like I just remember being at shows in that time period and seeing everyone look like that. So it's just funny to see like a group of like 6 or so all dressed identically to each other. It reminded me of like some really old fests we went to. People watching.
Yeah, I don't know. Best people watching for us. It feels like, not in every show, but in some for sure, it feels like a slightly more muted fest than years past. Just seems a little quieter. A little less energy at shows.
I wonder if the cold's the reason.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely been one of the coldest fests I've been to.
I think last year was colder.
Well, I think we had warmer days.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we did have like a colder night, for sure.
Weather talk.
Yeah. That Super Chunk year was really cold that night, but the rest of that weekend was fine. I think the coldest fest was that 4-year fest. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
4
we
days.
attended.
We did 4 days.
We did?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was
One
my
of the
first
days.
fest.
It was rough.
One of the days was rainy. Even.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
It was cold.
I don't recall being here for that.
It was too long.
We were here because it was too much fest. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, they never did that again. I think if they were going to do it, it would be this year because the way Halloween fell on Thursday this year.
Yeah.
Because that's why they did it last year. It's because they wanted to be part of Halloween. But it was just too much.
Yeah.
Like, you had way more downtime than you normally would have had.
Yeah.
Because everything was so spread out.
I mean, it's a smaller fest this year, too. I think they sold fewer tickets. But,
Yep, we can stop for a second.
No, it's fine.
Because I can edit this part
I was just
out.
miming for the sun drop. We're going to crack into our second regional soda.
Yeah. Yeah, strangely, this is a weird, like, fest, because it's like, the top-tier bands are, like, insanely top-tier bands.
We haven't even talked to a Jawbreaker yet.
Yeah, like, we're going to see Jawbreaker today. Today is, like, my busiest day. I'm basically staying at Bo Diddley all day long.
Yeah.
To see... I'd like to see Mariachi El Bronx. Screaming Females are there. American Steel's there. Stiff Little Fingers are there playing Inflammable Material.
Yeah, that's a good day for you.
Which is my... Stiff Little Fingers is one of the first British... No, well, not British, they're Irish. Punk bands I got into from the 70s.
yeah, they were just one of the early punk bands that we listened to a lot. Because we had, we listened to the Sex Pistols, but I feel like we didn't connect to them in the same way that we did with Stiff Little Fingers. I'm really excited to see them.
Yeah, they're the ones I'm most excited to see. I saw Jawbreaker earlier this year, so I mean, of course, I'm excited to see them again because it's Jawbreaker, and you never know when you'll ever get to see Jawbreaker again. But
yeah,
that's not good. The screen went black for a second there. Yeah, so it's a packed day where I'll be at Bo Diddley most of the day, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty busy day for us too. We'll definitely see you at at Jawbreaker. What else is today? Oh, Copyrights are doing a full album set. Lauren from Warriors is doing a solo set. That'll make up for skipping out on half of Warriors set yesterday. I'm excited to see Ramona again. Sorry, is it the slurping?
Yes.
I'm just loving this Sundrop.
Oh yeah. So what do you think of Sundrop, the other regional soda?
Sundrop is not what I expected.
I'll try to edit out as much smacking as possible. So it's a citrus, like a lemon lime soda.
Yeah.
Similar in concept to like Mountain Dew and Mellow Yellow, but tastes so much better than Mountain Dew and Mellow Yellow.
I agree. The taste is better than Mountain Dew. There's a smell to it though.
Could that be? You're using the same cup
No.
for the cherry wine or cheer wine.
It smells like it smells like skunk.
The cherry wine.
It might just be my cup. It smells like a skunk.
I don't smell that.
Smoking too much weed.
Smell.
I don't know.
I don't smell so.
It's funny you called it cherry wine because I remember being at a restaurant.
No, it tastes like a skunk. It tastes like a skunk too.
That's.
I think.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, I guess. I don't know.
But I remember someone was like at the restaurant. I was like, "What's cherry wine? Is it alcoholic?" Like, no, it's a soda.
I love seeing out-of-towners in North Carolina trying cheer wine in public.
Oh, I love. My favorite is we took a band called Matahari from
Boston or
Massachusetts area. I don't remember if they were Boston directly, but we booked them to play at our local coffee shop and putting shows where you shouldn't put shows.
Yeah.
And after the show, there's a regional, like a North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia chain of restaurants called Cookout, which is like primarily a drive-through, but there's some with sit-downs. This one's a drive-through. So we took him over there, and he was looking at the menu, and he was just like, "What's cheer wine?" And we're like, "Get it. It's a soda. It's like cherry cola almost, but way better." He's like, okay. What's hush puppies? It's like fried cornmeal, and then they tried to feed some raccoons that like came out of the out of like the bushes near there, and he was like, "Whoa!" Like he was like trying to get close to like touch it.
Don't do that.
Bad
He's like, "Don't do that." But it's just funny to see
It's
like
not like a stray cat.
yeah, that he being like wondered by like
Southern fast food.
I like
okay,
soda.
this tastes like a skunk too.
I'm not getting that.
All right, well, I'm getting hints of skunk in mine. Like when it burps up on you too. All right, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I was just back to Fest today. The biggest disappointment for me is that Fresh is playing at the same time as Jawbreaker.
Yes.
With all the scheduling changes, I had my eye on that one the most, just hoping they would be bumped back.
It's so funny because I'm in the Fest group on Facebook, and I've seen a lot of people saying, well, I saw a lot of people saying, "I don't get Jawbreaker." Like, okay.
All right.
Yes.
That's strange.
Yeah.
You must be very young then. You're just too young to understand what the big deal about Jawbreaker playing Fest is. But then the second most common thing I saw is people saying they're going to see Fresh.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to try and get in just to see, hopefully they've got some merch and pick up their records. Yeah, I mean, there's conflicts are an inevitability here, but that's the only one that's really, really a big bummer for me this year.
yeah, that was like the worst conflict for me because also Graf Orlock are playing at the same time, and I really like that band a lot too.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, that'd be another band I'd be very excited to see. But, I mean, I theoretically could skip Jawbreaker. I've seen them before. Old news, I don't need to see Jawbreaker. But they're also playing an hour and a half set. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you smelling your Sundrop?
I just.
Do you smell skunk yet?
No, I just.
Is this that thing where like some people when they smell a skunk also smell coffee?
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of that?
No.
Really?
When you first, to me, I kind of smell it. When you first start to smell a skunk.
From like a distance.
Like when you're
Like in a
just
car.
at the
it's not
periphery of
overpowering.
that smell, and you're just like,
It's not
someone's
coffee.
brewing coffee.
Nope.
And then you get closer, and it's like, oh.
You get the coffee smell?
Yeah.
I've never experienced that.
And I've also had it where sometimes if you're not expecting coffee, you're like, that's skunk? Like,
Yeah.
I know other people, it's not just, it's the actual thing. I think it's some olfactory.
It's a
like,
Hensley gene?
Yeah. It's like something where like some people smell, there's a similarity in skunk and coffee smell that like
Yeah, there's just like
only like a percentage of people can smell.
some similar
a
chemical-
rarefied breed.
Yeah.
Which apparently the people I work with also have it too, because they knew exactly what I was talking about. So
It's like people that taste cilantro tastes like soap, or
Yeah, I get that one.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you think cilantro tastes like soap?
I do, yeah.
Are you a soap? I just think it tastes bad.
Not like soap, just bad. I like cilantro.
It's fine. As long as it's not stimmy, I'm fine.
Cilantro talk.
No sticks, no stems.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a little bit over an hour here. I should actually... We're recording these out of order, so I should say what next week's episode is going to be.
Episcone.
Epic Scone. I'll go ahead and say this. So next week's episode, we are covering the year 1976, and we got number 1 on that on the albums list, and it is The Modern Lovers, and their subtitled album, The Modern Lovers. And our EP for that episode is number 3 on the charts, and it is Radio Birdman and Burn in My Eye. We've already recorded that episode. And we recorded it with... we don't need to keep it a secret. We recorded with the Singles Going Steady podcast, who Adrienne and Steve, and they were great. They were really fun to talk to. So that's a great conversation. Hopefully everybody enjoys. We're back on format for the time being. We have another thing I've been teasing, but we haven't fully announced yet. But Cory, you'll be involved with that one.
Cool.
We'll have to figure out the mechanics on that one.
Yeah.
But thanks for doing the show again. This is awesome. I love doing this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Fest is... I love Fest. I look forward to it most of the year. Like, it's... When they announce it, I'm super pumped. And then you have to stop thinking about it, because then you will spend 6 months of the year.
You'll just burn out on it.
And then every time they do a round of band announcements, then you're even more excited again. And
Yeah.
so the last month has been just like, that's peak excitement for Fest.
And then you don't delete your app for a month.
Yeah, I do that exact same thing. I'll save it and I'll look at it every once in a while. I'm like, yeah, I saw them at this time. Go back. Airplane. That's definitely being picked up.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Hopefully everybody's last day is fun and our travels back are not awful. But,
Yeah. Thanks again for having us.
yeah, thanks for doing the show again.